On today's show, a Minnesota winter tradition born out of a love story. We go back in time at one of Minnesota's busiest ski hills.
They're getting used to us.
Yeah. Learn how to fill your yard with hardy winter birds. And a winter trail just waiting for those who love to brave the snow and cold.
Minnesota Bound, presented by Connecticut Water Treatment Systems.
Hey everybody, Laura, Millie, and I welcome you to today's episode.
Here's a fun fact. Did you know that Minnesota is home to 19 different ski hills?
Yeah, and one of the busiest is right in the Twin Cities. It's a place with quite the tradition.
Which was started by a Minnesota man with a dream.
Race day jitters.
I'm a little nervous.
Let's go, Skylar. Go!
Just another of the busy days on a hill named Buck. This is a love story, a tale about a man and a hill. To understand is to go back in time and meet the man named Chuck.
We both loved to ski. We were dating, and one day we had lunch. He said, "Wouldn't it be fun to own a ski area?" And I said, "Oh, yes." And he just looked for the highest point around. Turned out to be Buck Hill. People had skied here, but never a lift.
Over time, Buck Hill grew, and so did the family.
I think a lot of people grew up either working here or skiing here, and now we're into that second and third generations, and they want to see their kids out here skiing just like they did.
When I was about 17, Chuck Stone hired me. It was like my first job in skiing. I've been coming out here for over 50 years.
A ski hill needs a coach. They found one in Austria.
I came here 50 years ago, and when I came in here, the first thing I said to my friend, "Where is the hill?" I didn't see the hills. And I thought, oh my God, what am I doing here?
Eric Seiler took the job and built Buck Hill's reputation.
We got to have one good racer. Once we have one, we have two, we have three, we have more, and we did.
Legacy that's come out of here is amazing, with everyone from Christina Kosnick to the most famous Lindsey Vonn, of course.
That was then. This is now.
I won Junior World Championship Super G, which is a pretty big result, which kind of made me eligible for World Cup, and it also put me onto the US B team, which is a big step for me. It all started here at Buck Hill. Eric Seiler has been my rising coach. It's just the community I love. It's my pleasure to be able to come back here.
This hill on the edge of the city stays busy all winter, as long as winter weather plays nice. Buck caters to both race teams and families.
My husband and son are both ski racers, so they're out here almost every day of the week. We live about 10 minutes from here, so it's pretty awesome. You get a ton of vertical feet, just being on that tow rope, skiing every day.
It's a nice little oasis. That's 66 acres. When you're a little kid, it seems like it's huge, right?
If only Chuck knew what love of a hill could lead to.
4 months out of the year, it's just a super cool ski resort with so much heritage and legacy to it that we thought, well, what about the other 8 months of the year? Can we make it into a year-round entertainment destination? And that's what we're trying to do. So we've added a bunch of summer activities with Everything from mountain biking to disc golf to car shows to concerts to try to activate the facility in the summer.
Now, that legacy lives on.
New owners of the Solars have done such a great job keeping Buck Hill just at the top, and it's wonderful.
This type of feeder is a
Coming up next, we help you keep your bird feeder busy all winter long.
Minnesota Bound is brought to you by Connecticut Water Treatment Systems, VMC Hooks, Ice Castle Fish House and RV, and by the Florida Keys and Key West.
Not all birds fly south for the winter. In fact, many stay put. You know, it's a kind gesture to feed our feathered friends during the winter months. Not only does it benefit them, but it also benefits us by getting closer to nature. I'm headed to All Seasons Wild Bird Store to show you how to get started feeding winter birds. Hi, Carol.
Hi, Laura. Welcome to All Seasons Wild Bird Store.
Well, thank you for having us here today. I am really excited to get started feeding winter birds. I see there's a lot of options here.
There are a lot of options.
So what are the first steps to getting started?
First step is deciding where you will be when you're watching the birds. Sit in your favorite chair, at your workstation, if you're in your home office, in front of the sink washing dishes. Where do you want to be when you're watching those birds? That will help us decide what feeder you should use.
Well, speaking of feeders, I see you have quite a few over here. Do you want to take me on a tour?
Absolutely.
All right.
Winter bird feeding, you need to have nutrient-dense food. You could do a double suet feeder with the tail prop for the pileated, prop their tail so you can get a good whack at that suet.
And this is for woodpeckers.
Woodpeckers. They also really like the suet log feeder, Minnesota made.
Minnesota made, love that.
This is for feeding on a patio area. It's got a patio base. These are two options of window feeders. They'll get used to seeing you there. It isn't going to bother them. Great way to see birds up close and personal.
Do you have any concern about birds flying into windows when there's feeders on the window?
Actually, it helps to keep them from hitting the window because they realize it's not a pass-through.
I understand if you have a squirrel issue in your backyard, this feeder's for you.
It is. I love this feeder. Squirrels, when they touch this, it closes off the food source and they can't get at it.
And that means no food for you, right?
Right.
Buffet is closed. So now that we have our feeders, obviously we need to fill them with food. And I'm guessing different types of seed attract different types of birds, correct?
Right, right. So this type of feeder is a Niger feeder, little tiny slit holes. So you need a small seed like Niger and chips to go in that one.
And this is for chickadees?
Chickadees, goldfinches, house finches, winter visiting finches. Another option is dried mealworms.
Don't these look delicious?
Yeah, really great nutrition for the birds.
Who doesn't love worms, right? We all do, don't we? And the suet, of course, is for woodpeckers and other...
Right, so birds that can cling would use this feeder, like a chickadee, nuthatch, nice high density, high fat.
And that's important for the winter to make sure it is high fat for the birds, right?
Right. And birds that are lucky enough to have a bird feeder in their area enter breeding season healthier and have better broods.
So we have our feeders, we have our food. Does it matter where you put the bird buffet outside?
It does. And if you want to follow me, I'll show you our display out back.
So we are in the land of bird feeders out here. Do you have any tips on where to place the bird feeders once you get them to your backyard?
Sure. If you're worrying about squirrels, you want to put a baffle over the top and not too close to the tree trunk because they can jump. Yeah, I do like the idea of having bird feeders out where there's cover so the birds can hopscotch from one tree to another and then to your feeders. They seem to be more comfortable. The chickadees always seem to be the first birds to get used to a new feeder, and we're just standing here and they're sort of just waiting for us to move.
They are. They're getting used to us.
Yeah, they're going to land on your shoulder. Interacting with nature is really good for us. It lowers blood pressure, all of those things, and feeding birds in your backyard just brings that nature right up where you can see them and where you can interact with them, and benefits them to have the food and benefits us to have them.
Thank you, Carol, for all your help today.
You're very welcome. Here's your feeder.
Excellent. So remember to set up the bird buffet in your backyard. It'll brighten your day as much as it does the birds.
Still ahead, Belinda Jensen joins us to pass along safety tips to keep your dog safe outside this winter. But first, one Minnesota community embraces winter with the most unique winter trail.
Closed captioning provided by Star Bank.
Up next, we head north to the Canadian border, where folks in Warroad sort of accidentally created a new Minnesota winter tradition.
Christmas might be a holiday of gifts, but Old Man Winter long ago gave this town so much more.
Hockey's life up here. I mean, we're Hockey Town, USA for a reason.
A Canadian border borough of 1,800 people, where parents start them young. And locals greet strangers like this.
Mike Flick, class of 1987, Section 8 champ. It's just hockey, man. Look around.
I grew up playing hockey. My son played hockey here. That's all people talk about in the wintertime.
So, when COVID shut the doors to Warroad's indoor rinks, kids came up with a predictable plan. See, everyone skates on homemade rinks alongside Warroad's river.
Kids from the river that way and from the river that way, they'll meet here and they'll get a game going. It's been just a beautiful thing for our community.
You live here, you play hockey, just to have fun, skate.
High schooler Tori Kennedy had an idea to up the fun factor. Better let her dad explain.
My daughter says, let's see if we can plow from the neighbors to our rinks. So the next day we decided to give it a try and it went well.
Sure did. Tori's trail became Warroad's trail, a river rink system stretching 2.5 miles across town.
It's been amazing for just people getting outside.
The cutting of the skates on the outdoor ice is completely different than anywhere else.
Frank Crane traded daily walking shoes for old skates.
And they put the trail right by my house. I just walk down to my dock, put my skates on and go for a skate. I hadn't skated for probably 30 years. I don't know. It's been a long time. First time, a little scary. I was a little wobbly.
The sudden magic of a new winter legacy.
I'm a terrible, terrible skater.
Strangers can't stay away.
Yep, St. Paul.
I talk to people on the trail once in a while, people from the cities, people from Grand Forks, Red River Valley, over that direction.
People coming to walk dogs, pull sleds, push baby strollers, cross-country ski, snowshoe, walk the trail. I mean, you name it.
There's a guy here last week, he was on speed skates. He was living in New York State for the last 14 years.
Locals rallied around the river too.
Waking up bright and early to go set fireplaces.
Kids keep wood stocked.
Set up some fire pits on the banks and stuff for all the skaters.
And dads do the dirty work of cleaning ice.
The Riverbend Maintenance Fund does a concession stand. We have snacks and a bonfire.
Look at that beautiful hot dog there. I'm gonna go attempt to make my 13-year-old happy. Wish me luck.
Everything's free will donations.
And that might truly be Warroad's best-kept secret. People here share happily, a gesture best expressed by the old garbage can.
We have a bucket of sticks, and that's kind of iconic. So when people come down, they're like, oh my gosh, look at the hockey sticks. And these ones are probably like $10 hockey sticks, but they've been around forever.
Free to anyone who might take time to stop and just go for a skate. A river of dreams come true. Minnesota's newest frozen treat. A gift given to all of us from a hockey town where even the frostbite comes free.
Straight ahead, we go back in time with Belinda Jensen. She helps keep your dog safe outdoors this winter.
Minnesota Bound is brought to you by Heat Hog, Radco Truck Accessories, and by Totem Resorts, the premier destination for world-class fishing.
This next story is all about canines out in the cold and the snow.
Long ago, Belinda Jensen talked to the pros on how to keep your canine pals safe during the winter months.
With winter fast approaching, you know, we look at winterizing our lawn, we winterize our house, but what about winterizing your dog and getting everything ready for your dog? This is Keely. He is my dog. He's a Kuvaz, which is a Hungarian guard dog, used to living in the Hungarian highlands all winter long. So actually this breed has about 4 coats and pretty much all over my house all the time. Maybe your dog doesn't have as many coats, or maybe your dog is an outside dog. Well, the best place to start is preparing that dog house.
It's important with the doghouse, if they're outside, for it to be off the ground a couple inches, to have the door not facing the north wind, have the door somewhat covered, and to have the doghouse itself just fit the size of a dog so that their own body heat can heat that space.
Well, that's some great advice. I got a couple new friends here. You know those really cold winter nights when you're inside and they're out here and you feel guilty? What is the crucial temperature when you should really bring your dogs inside? We asked our experts. They couldn't really agree totally, but here are some guidelines.
It's my opinion that when it gets 10 degrees below zero, you should bring that dog inside. It's strictly my opinion, folks, but I would like to have my dog inside with me when it's 10 below zero.
Well, as the snow starts to pile up and you start using some salt on your driveway and the sidewalks, you want to make sure you wipe that salt off the dog's paws. This is Bart the puppy, and so you'd want to make sure you wipe it off his paws because it can be very irritating to them. Also, if your car is leaking any kind of antifreeze, you want to be very careful. Our vets say that even a couple of drops of antifreeze for the dog can be fatal.
Dogs love antifreeze. It's sweet, it's bright color, so if you have any idea that your pet has gotten into antifreeze, get them into your veterinarian immediately. A wait of 2 to 3 days is normally fatal.
Well, you know, if your dog doesn't have as many coats as Keely, you might want to try a couple of these things. Cleo here has a coat that's very fashionable, and she will be very warm on those cold winter nights. And Caesar has a neoprene vest that provides camouflage, it provides warmth, and it's also buoyant. Also on the market, you might find a lot of these little paw pads and covers for if you're going to have your dog running on the ice or something that might actually hurt their paws. So get your dogs ready, get your house ready, get your lawn ready. Winter's coming, embrace it. Right, Keely?
Great advice even today, though Bacon probably still prefers it indoors by the hot fire. I don't know about Millie, though.
What do you think? No response. Well, that about does it for us. We hope to see you back here next week.
In the meantime, remember to introduce a kid to the great outdoors.
Fireplace?
I think so.
Warm blanket?
Transportation provided by Premier Transportation. Call 1-800-899-7433. To get more Minnesota Bound, including full episodes, go to mnbound.com. And to follow our latest adventures, like us on Facebook.